Today sees the third and final round of Super Rugby Aupiki round robin matches before we find our semi-final matchups for next weekend. The table-topping Chiefs Manawa play Matatu at 2:05 in Hamilton. Then the Poa against the Blues at Sky Stadium from 4:35 this afternoon. Let's bring in Chiefs Manawa assistant coach Darryl Suasua. Darryl, good to chat to you so close to kick-off. You've racked up 50 points in both games so far this season, 53-21 over the Poa, 50-33 over the Blues. Looks good on the scoreboard, clearly, but how pleased have you and the rest of the coaching staff been with the performances of the Chiefs Manawa side so far?
Yeah, look, it's getting the points is good, but we've also been leaking a few, so that's an area we hopefully we can tidy up, and there's probably a few opportunities, I think, particularly in that Blues game, where we moved right away from what we were trying to do. And we ended up playing at the wrong parts of the field again. So, yeah, there's plenty of improvement to go.
As far as righting those wrongs, if you can call them wrongs, is concerned, have the players been pretty open to the advice that you've been giving them about those things?
Yeah, they have. And they've been awesome. I mean, the reality of this competition, they have one training a week. You've got to try and fit everything into that one training. So the team actually assembles on the Thursday. Have a training on the Thursday, Friday, it's just like a captain's run and they're straight into it. So making big modifications from week to week is pretty difficult. So it's a matter of, doing your homework, having a look at some footage and that sort of stuff while they're at home. When they come in, we go over it all on paper and talk about it. And then we walk through it until we run it. And then then it's pretty much all go.
How challenging is that for you as a coach and as a coaching group to really crystallise stuff down because of the small time frame that you have?
Yeah, it's not easy, but it is what it is. Every team's in the same boat. So I guess a lot of it comes down to, if you are coaching, it's how you're putting your messages across. And hopefully, if you're doing okay, then they'll start to pick it up. But it's not easy. It's not an easy assignment with the way it's structured at the moment.
Matatu today, do you expect them to provide a different kind of challenge than what the Poa and the Blues did?
Yeah, we do. I mean, they've got a pretty solid set piece, which looks good. I think that a number of the national team players in that forward pack there. So we've one of the things we can do a fair bit of work on is our set piece, and Greg Smith's been doing a great job there with converting people to prop on that. So, I mean, even at this level, we've had to convert people into props. We've lost 3 Blackburn props that have been in that squad. So we've had to manufacture a little bit there. So going up against the Blackburn front row with what they've got in their back 5, it's going to be a real challenge. And I think probably they're pretty good at the back 3 as well. Now they've got a strong kicking game, which the other 2 teams haven't really presented yet.
How do you go about converting somebody into a front rower?
It's tough, but when we lost Santo Tomat to a broken arm in the pre-season, and then Angel Mulu's been crook as well, and then Finn that was named to play the last 2 weeks has pulled out in training, so she probably won't be able to say that. We lost those 3, but when we lost Santo probably right at the start, and it's probably about 4 weeks or so ago, they started working Harono. Putting her into that tight head spot. So all she's been doing is scrummaging, and she's not too bad. She's going well. And we put her on the last few minutes of the game, probably about 10, 15 minutes to go last week, just to see how she would go. And great comment after her. She's never going to complain about a prop again. She reckons her first scrum, she pushed as hard as she could, and when she went to run, her leg turned to jelly and she couldn't move. So it's not an easy task. But the technical staff during the week, we've been taking her down to Hamilton, where Greg lived, and she's been doing a lot of scrum work away from the team, just to get her ready for that. So today we're persevering. She's on the bench again. The thing about Harono, she's a former loose forward. She's probably one of the biggest players here, immensely strong, and if she can start doing work on this, I believe you've potentially got one of the best. Tight heads coming through in women's rugby, runner, passer, catcher, all that sort of stuff. But she nails that scrummaging side, his core role, she'll be pretty good.
That's outstanding. What a great story. You're at home today as well, Darryl. First time you've had the chance to play at home. Has that added a bit of a special layer to preparations and a bit more anticipation for the team today?
Oh, yeah, look, I mean, there's a lot of girls in this team that also play for Waikato. And, just in the jersey presentation, a couple of them said, this is my home ground, this is my turf. And, when they accepted their jersey, and they just can't wait to get out there.
Outstanding. And, I mean, you've been around this game for a while, mate. I mean, you led the Black Ferns to a couple of World Cups back in 98 and 02, and that's, a couple of decades ago. What are the biggest changes you've seen in women's rugby in the time since?
Oh, probably, it's great to see. There's been a process to get them to a stage where they're professional, and every little step's been great to see as they've been, stepping up, first putting them into, when academies, the provincial academies started accepting women into there, and I think probably a long time ago the first one was Auckland, where they took in Lindri Tunu and Justine Lavia. And then I guess a lot of the other provincial unions have followed suit. Then it goes to the stage where they were semi-professional. Then, with the Black Ferns, and the Black Ferns became professional. And then, this group here now at Aupiki, they're semi-professional. And, it's moving in the right direction. One of the things that I've found a little bit different too is all the sports science and stuff that goes around it. I don't know if that's always a good thing. You've got a lot of people saying, they can't train at this time, they can't train at that time, and all that sort of stuff, which as a coach, that's frustrating. You want to get the your technical, tactical content in, and you're getting people pulled off because their GPS is too old, all that sort of thing. But that's a problem worldwide, I think, with professional rugby these days. So, yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, that's an interesting point that you made, because that's all based on data, isn't it? That's kind of textbook or book coaching. Whereas, you've been out there on the grass for 30 years doing this, so I can understand your frustration around that stuff.
Yeah, look, I think you've still got a little bit of credence to coaches. You know how much you're putting into the players on the grass. You don't need too much data. You might need data to confirm that, and if you've gone a bit far. But one of the good stories I heard was when Pat Lam went up to Connacht. The first thing he did with his management team says, look, just to get one thing straight, when I come here, I decide when the players train, how long for, and how hard it's going to be. And everybody faces, all the sports science trainers, what the hell's going on here? And of course, he's an experienced coach. He knew what he was doing, didn't overload them, but got the best out of them. So, you've got to balance up the technical, tactical, psychological, physical, and I think sometimes with all this, all that sort of GPS and all that sort of stuff, you're only focusing on the physical, and a lot of them miss out on that, a lot of the detail. So, you can see where Pat got all the gains by doing that.
Yeah, that's great. And just, I know you have to go, but in terms of the length of the Super Rugby Aupiki competition, Darryl, we've got a 5-week comp, 3 round-robin games, semis and a final. For you, going forward, and you mentioned it being small steps, but steps forward, what would the ideal length of Super Rugby Aupiki be?
Look, if they sort of start to, I guess, get the same sort of time as the men's Super Rugby, that would be great. And obviously with the teams playing over there in Australia now, and you've got Fiji and Drua, potentially Moana Pacifica, you've got the same teams playing in a competition. So if they went the same length of time, that would be great. It makes it worthwhile. Like a lot of these, the players we've got here, they've finished on Sunday, so they'll have their review and all that sort of stuff, recovery on the Sunday, get home probably late afternoon, got to go to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then they need to be back in Hamilton or Cambridge by 9 o'clock for a start the next morning. So they could be flying from, one of the girls is flying from Dunedin, flying down from Whangarei, driving down from Auckland, from Tauranga, so they're all coming in and they have to be there by 9. Then with rugby, when you're in camp, it's full on. You go from the Thursday right through to the Sunday, getting them back to work again. And it's tough, and particularly with some of these ladies, they've got their jobs, but they've also got their kids at home that they're looking after. So it is tough. So if they do extend it, where they can have a longer time, which means they, get days off in the week, that would be great.
Darryl, it's been such a great pleasure catching up with you, mate. All the best this afternoon as you take on Matatu in Hamilton and on towards the finals as well. Hope to catch up again sometime soon.
Cool. Thank you very much.